everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video all about my organizational tips that I have for college students. And I will say that yes, this is going to be geared more towards college students just because I am obviously in college, but that's not to say that if you're in high school you can't take any advice from this. Just, I don't know, a couple things have changed since I was in high school to now and how I organize all my school supplies, so things are a little bit different for me now, but this can definitely still apply to you if you're in high school. I'm just kind of going to be gearing it more towards college students. Also, I've never filmed one of these videos and I've seen them all over YouTube for a really long time now, and I've actually never really watched any of them either, so I'm hoping that you guys don't find this video to be like super repetitive of what anyone else has said on their channel, because truly, like, I've never watched any of these videos before, so hopefully my advice won't sound exactly the same as everyone else's, because this is all stuff that I actually do on a daily basis. I use all of these tips myself and they seem to really work for me, so hopefully they'll work for you guys too and you will enjoy getting to hear everything I have to say. If you do like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you want to stick around, because I'd really appreciate that. We are almost to 90,000 subscribers. We are so close. I feel like we've been so close for so long, but we're getting super close now and I'm so excited about it. So if you are not subscribed already, please do that. It would make me so happy. Okay, so I have 5 basic tips here to staying organized, and the first one, so essential, definitely the most important, and that is to get a planner. And I'm sure every single YouTube video you've ever watched about organization has said this before, but seriously, planners are essential. I don't know how I would ever survive without a planner, because I have so many meetings and so much homework and so many things that are constantly on my to-do list, and if I didn't have a place to write all that down, I think my brain would just explode. So this year I have a new planner. In the past I've always gotten Lily Pulitzer planners, but this year I got the Emily Lace Simplified Planner, and gonna be real, I got it because I thought the cover was just so pretty. I loved the pattern on it, and she also has a bunch of cute other prints as well. So if you're interested in checking out these planners, I'll put a link to them down below. They're really awesome. But what's different about this planner is that it's actually an hourly planner, and I didn't think that I was gonna need that feature or that I would like fully utilize it, because in the past I've always just used like a daily planner where I write everything out, but this planner has a page for every single day, and it has a spot for every hour of the day from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. and let's be real, I'm never up at 6 a.m. so I never really use any of those spots up there, but as you can see, this is my page from today. Today is Friday, September 23rd when I'm filming this, and I filled out a bunch of it. So I just find it super helpful to have a spot for every hour, because that way I know I won't like overbook myself or plan 2 different things to be at the same time, because that's such a mess when that happens, and so this is really nice to have every single hour listed out. And on the other side it also has a to-do list, so this is just where I write down my homework, and then also if I have stuff to do with like videos or sponsorships, emails, stuff like that, I'll write all of that down here as well. And then it has a spot on the bottom for dinner and for notes, and honestly I never really write down there unless I run out of room on my to-do list. Like today I had a lot of homework, so I had to go in the notes spot a little bit, but I'm a college student. I don't really plan out my meals as well as I probably should or could, so I don't really use the dinner spot ever, but they're there if you like to plan your dinners every day, then that's nice, I guess. So what I like to do is obviously write down when I have class every single day, so I never forget, because I mean that'd be really sad if I forgot to go to a class, but I always write down classes, and then I'll write down when I have lunch. I try and write down like when I wake up, and I never write down when I go to sleep because that changes every night. But for example, today I started class at 8, I had another class at 9, I had a break at 10 o'clock, and so I went to a convocation on campus, which is basically just kind of like an informational meeting, and so I put that there so that I would know what room number it was in so I wouldn't forget. And then I had class at 11, and at 12, after that class, I went and ate lunch. At 2:30, I had an opportunity to go do something for a club I'm involved in, but I put a question mark by it because I wasn't sure if I was gonna go, and I ended up not going, so sometimes I just like to write things tentatively, and I'll put a question mark if it's questionable. And then from 3 to 5, I was gonna go work on some decorations for my sorority, but I also ended up not doing that because I kind of forgot that I needed to film this video. And then at 7 tonight, I'm going to the Need to Breathe concert, which I'm so excited about. Oh my goodness, guys. So it's so nice to have every single hour written out, and then if I have something that I know is gonna happen that day but I don't know what time it's gonna be, I normally will just write it like in the notes section down here or on the to-do side, and then I'll just fill it in later once I know what time it's gonna be. Also on the top of the to-do list, I always write if I had anything due for class this day, and so today I had 2 things due for my science class, so I just put those up there. And then what's nice is that the to-do list has little bubbles next to them, and so you can check it off once you finish everything. So I turned those in, that was good. And then I just like to write out all of my classes, and I write homework down for each one. Something else I love doing is color coding, and so You might be able to see that, maybe not. There are a bunch of different colors here, but I have a different color for every class, which just helps my brain keep me focused. This planner also has a larger like monthly calendar for each month, which I don't really use that much, but I do use this sometimes for planning out my videos. And sometimes I'll get really behind on planning videos, and sometimes I'll just get way too excited and plan too far in advance. But I just kind of like to put down tentatively like when I'm going to film videos or upload them. So recently I've been uploading on Sunday, as you can see, so there's like a little schedule. And then I also like to keep a little list of video ideas over here on the notes side so that I can just remember what I want to film. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about my planner today. I feel like I could go into so much more detail with it and like show you guys specifics and everything, but I feel like I've already been talking for a long time. Yes, oh my gosh, I've been talking for 7 minutes. That's crazy. Okay, let's move on to tip number 2. The next tip I have really does apply more to college students because it is to keep up with your syllabus from each of your classes. And this is something that I appreciate so much because I like to plan ahead for things, and so having a syllabus that basically maps out the whole semester is so great for me. So I really like to utilize it and keep up with it like every single day. So I'm constantly looking at it, and something that I like to do is to highlight off all the assignments and days once I've completed them. So this is my binder right here, which I'll go into in a minute, but this is just an example of one of my syllabi. I don't like that word, it sounds weird. And so each day after I have completed the assignment the night before, I will highlight that off, and then every day after class, once I've been to class, gotten the notes and everything, I'll highlight that off. So I also just like the colors again. I like to go in a nice rainbow order here, but yes, I do this for all of my syllabi. As you can see, here's one and here's another. So I really like to highlight those things off. It just helps me to like be able to visually see that I'm marking something off of my to-do list, and it's also just a really great feeling after you finish your homework and you can just highlight it off. It's like, yes, it's done, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. Okay, now I'm going to share with you guys how I organize each of my different classes. So in high school I always used binders, but moving into college I decided to switch it up and use notebooks, mostly because I just heard everyone else use notebooks, so I was like, I guess I'll use notebooks too. Don't worry, there are people who use binders. For those of you who are binder fans, it's alright. So last year I had one 5-subject notebook, and I had 5 classes, so I just used it for all of my classes, and that got a little bit hectic, especially towards the end of the semester, just because the pocket folders inside them were really filling up and I was running out of pages in some of my classes, and so yeah, I had to switch it up this year. And this year I decided to go for 2 individual notebooks, and if you watch my school supplies haul video, then you would probably already know this, but I have one that is well, they're both 3 subjects, but one is for 3 of my business classes, and then they each have their own little subject inside here, and then one is for my honors classes, and it is a 3-subject notebook, but I just put 2 subjects in it. So at the beginning of each of the subjects there's a little pocket folder for each one. Like this is my science area, so I actually don't have any papers for that class yet, but it just has the folder if I need to put any papers in there, and then I just take notes in that one section. I find this to be super helpful because I don't have to carry around 5 different notebooks in my backpack. Like I can just carry these 2 every day, and if I need something for a certain class, I know that I'll always have it with me, and I don't have to like go back to my dorm and find something. And then on top of that I also keep a binder, which I was showing you guys a minute ago. This is from Target. Isn't it cute? Okay, this is super awkward angle, but basically I just have a tab for each of my classes, and in each one I put the syllabus as well as just like some loose leaf paper in case I happen to need it for that class, and any other like important papers that I just hole punch and put in here. So yeah, each class has its own little section, and then at the end I have one for my sorority because sometimes I have papers and stuff that I need to put in there. And the last thing I have to go in this tip number 3 is just the fact that I carry around a pocket folder as well. So basically these 4 things I always have with me, and it's great because they're not super heavy and I just always have them with me. And yeah, so this folder I just basically use for any sort of random paper, like if I'm turning in an assignment or an essay or something like that in class, I'll put it in here so that I know that I for sure have it. Okay, that was like the longest tip ever. I'm sorry I'm talking so much, but next thing I have is for textbooks. And sometimes what I think is just crazy in college is that textbooks will be in binders. They're like a 3-hole punch binder textbook rather than an actual bound textbook, which I think is really annoying, but sometimes you get your textbook and you're like, well darn, this isn't what I wanted. So one of my textbooks is literally huge. It's sitting right there on my desk right now, and I'm telling you guys, it's like this big in a giant binder, and it's so heavy, and I just don't want to have to carry that around all the time. So what I do is I get a little binder. This is probably like half an inch, I think. And because I have two like hole punch textbooks this year, I have two different sections in this binder, and the first is for my business law class, and I'll just take out the pages that I need and put them in here, and then have a little divider so I can keep them separated. And then the other side is for my finance class, and if we're doing like different chapters and I don't want the pages to get all mixed up, what I do is just paper clip them together. So I'll paper clip all the chapters together so they don't get mixed up and rearranged. So I just find this to be super helpful because I don't have to carry around my whole textbook, and I can bring with me just the chapters that I'm needing for that day. And then after I have a test with all of these chapters included, I will take these out and binder clip them together so that I have them, and that way I can just like leave them to the side, and later when I'm studying for final exams, I can look at it and say, okay, these were all from test number 1, and I know I need to study these. These were from test number 2, and they're these chapters, if that makes sense to y'all. Alright, lastly, tip number 5 is to keep a folder on your desktop for each of your classes to keep all of your documents organized in. So this is my desktop right here. Isn't my background pretty? I found it on Pinterest. I just think it's so pretty. But over here on the side, I have some extra folders too, but these 5 folders right here are for each of the classes I'm in. If you guys can even see that, you probably can't, I'm sorry. And so my school uses Blackboard, which is like a website that connects teachers with students, and it's where they upload files and grades and stuff like that. And so this might seem a little ridiculous to some people, but basically I go into Blackboard and I download everything and I put it into these folders so that when I'm studying for a test, if they uploaded a PowerPoint, I know that I have it, or if they uploaded a study guide, I know that I have it. And so I really just like to keep everything in these folders, and I'm telling you guys, it's so helpful because sometimes you're going to be looking for like an assignment that you did a couple weeks ago and you're like, gosh, where did that file on my computer go? And if you just put it into the folder that it needs to go in, it's so much easier to find it later. And then at the end of the semester, it feels really great when you can just take all the files and delete them. It's like, yes, I survived that class and I don't have to worry about it anymore. Okay, so while I was getting ready for this video, I found the quote that says, with organization comes empowerment. And I didn't write down who said that quote, but I just thought that was a really great quote. And so I hope that this video inspired you guys to get organized for this school year, especially if you are typically someone who is unorganized for school, because being organized for school can be fun sometimes, and it's also really helpful. I promise this is going to help you, study harder, get better grades, do all that sort of stuff. So again, if you guys like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it, and also subscribe. It would mean so much to me, and hopefully we'll get to 90,000 soon because I'm so excited about it. If you have any other organization related questions, tips, advice, anything like that, or if you want to see any more videos on this sort of subject, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will definitely get to that and answer all of your questions and get to your requests hopefully in the future. And I think that's all I have to say for this video. So again, I hope you guys liked it, and I will talk to you all next time. Bye!